the revolution will be televised. Well, that happened already. In fact, it's been happening already. A lot of revolutions have been televised. And we should add another line to that to describe what is going on these days. Another line that is appropriate would be your execution will be streamed live. Well, at least that's what happened last October 5 at 5:35 in the morning. One Juan Humalon, aka Johnny Walker, that's his FM radio name, is in Misamis Occidental Philippines. While he was streaming live his radio show in his home, he was executed. He was shot, I think, in the lower lip and in the head, and he died in front of the world to see while he was streaming live his radio show. And this comes days after a few days of the barangay elections. Of course, the authorities have not really found out exactly what the motive was, but I think this says a lot about us. Of course, the Philippines being one of the most dangerous places for journalists. It's been so for decades now, and I think that's a statistic that we should not be proud of. I think we're eighth as far as the most dangerous places in the world are for media men, for journalists, and I think that's a list that we don't want to be in. But I think three things that are important to discuss here. I think number one is cultural. I think we are not a very confrontational people. As a people, we don't really want difficult conversations. We don't really want to talk to each other as much as we would like to. And instead of talking to each other, I guess we resort to violence, and I think that's what happened here. I think we take ourselves and our politics too seriously. And if we are unable to get the results that we want, I think some people resort to violence, and I think that's a very dangerous mindset. And number two, I think some of us have lost hope in our judicial system. I think we've lost hope in the fact that we are able to get justice through our law, our judicial system. That's why we resort to taking the law into our own hands by simply just executing somebody instead of going to the courts and suing the person who you think has done you wrong. And I think that's very dangerous if the people do not believe in the judicial system anymore and resort to violence instead. That's pretty dangerous. And also, I'm not sure. The third point I'd like to raise is I'm not sure this country is so big on freedom of speech. Remember what Voltaire once said. He said, "I may disapprove of what you say, but I will fight to the death your right to say it." And I think that is important for our culture to understand and perhaps even to imbibe and to take to heart, because I think our freedom of speech is a very important freedom, and I think we should be vigilant about it. Our freedoms that we enjoy now, we should not take for granted. You know how easily it can be taken away from us too. And I think we should have conversations. We should have the difficult conversations. We should have debates. We should have arguments, in fact. Because as long as we're debating, as long as we're arguing, as long as we're having a conversation, we are not shooting each other.